So here's a few questions on the ordinances. Here's the first one. Are public baptisms meant to be more of a proclamation to believers or unbelievers? Better to baptize in the church or, say, in an outdoor venue where non-believers may be present? I'm actually going to probably start answering this question from a third perspective. And I think that the primary um, reason for baptism is not for the unbeliever or believer, but it's actually for the person who has confessed faith in the Lord. And my argument for that would be the Ethiopian eunuch in Acts chapter 8. Remember, they were going along, and this eunuch had not heard about the Lord, and so Philip opened his mouth in verse 35 and began with this scripture. He told him the good news about Jesus, and they were going along the road. They came to some water, and the eunuch said, "See, here's water. What prevents me from being baptized?" And he commanded the chariot to stop, and they both went down into the water, Philip and the eunuch, and he baptized him. So I think the main purpose of baptism is actually for the person who has confessed faith in the Lord. It is a way to kind of formally commit. I am going to be a follower of Jesus, which is kind of like maybe a wedding ring. You put a wedding ring on. This is the way I'm going to commit to being a follower, to having my wife be my one and only woman. That I'm going to forsake all other for her alone. I'm going to follow her. She's going to be my wife. That's the wedding ceremony. It's all that same kind of thing. And I think that's what baptism is primarily. It's for the person confessing faith in the Lord. This is my God. I am forsaking all others for God alone. So I think that's the primary thing. Secondarily, of course, it's helpful for the church, and I think it's helpful for the unbelieving world to watch as well. So given that, I think we do baptisms outside when appropriate. Do them within the church when appropriate. I do think that it is an ordinance that should be overseen, however, by the elders of a local church, since that is a part of the way that God it seems to have set this up after we get started in the epistles, and there's a sense in which the elders are now in charge of these sorts of things. I think that's a good way to read the New Testament. But the Acts of the early church, things are getting going. So I think it's best to keep the baptism within the church and overseen by the church. But indoor, outdoor, yeah, that's both are effective and both should be done.